resides with the people who make appraisals and decide the way to go in every election cycle. The platform this morning would start the countdown to Governor Otti's 1 year in office and general assessment office.
And we worked, throughout that period, very harmoniously. But after that, I called it a quit. I decided not to be political again. I decided that I wouldn't belong to any political party anymore.
Okay.
And that I was going to be an interested observer in the politics of Abia State and how things go. So ever since, I took this position, I have also gained a lot of experience.
Okay.
And I've also observed a lot of things that probably I'll be able to share with you.
Okay, so tell us, are you comfortable with his style of leadership so far? I mean, he has been there for almost 1 year. What will be your assessment of his government? In various areas you've been around, you've seen what he has done, and the areas you think should be improved upon. Tell us your assessment so far.
Well, that is a very wide area of assessment. It's very large. First of all, you're talking about leadership, his leadership.
Yeah.
Let me start from there. A leader is somebody who inspires confidence in the led. A leader is somebody who the people accept, and the people accept and how do I say it? Praise when there is need for praising.
Okay.
And also scolded, when there was need, to do that. So a leader should work essentially for the people.
Okay.
And in some areas, yes, people are commenting that Alex Otti is doing well. And in some other areas, people feel that he is not doing well at all. So it's a question of one's personal ideas about what should be done and what should not be done. Now, leadership, like you said, sometimes, you acquire your own style of leadership. It's a personal thing, really. It's personal, So once you have acquired certain traits of leadership, it's very hard, to abandon it, Remember that Alex worked as a bank manager.
Yeah.
And that is a structured area of organization where the boss, is always right. And my idea is that he probably came to politics with that sense of reality.
Okay.
He probably came to politics to see that everybody, or to desire that everybody says, you are right, sir, you are right, sir, you are right, sir. Nobody says the contrary. So he likes that, that there's no doubt about that. And whether that is good for the governance of the state, it's left for people to appreciate, But the point remains that, he rose, to the level where, in the banking system, he rose to a level where everybody says, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, to him. And I don't think he has been able to shade that attitude, that way of looking at things. I don't think so.
Okay, so we are coming from somewhere, and the last 9 years or so, from the previous government, many people said in 2023 there's a need for Abians to have a change, and in 2023 election they effected that change, and that's what actually brought the government of Alex Otti into power right now. Now, looking at where Abians are coming from and where we are right now, has there been any improvement, or are we still where we used to be? Have we moved forward? Any progress so far?
Here again, the area of analysis is also very wide.
Okay.
But I'll take some areas, as an example. Yes, there has been some improvement. Now, why do I say there's been some improvement? It is because, a greater majority of the downtrodden people feel that he is doing well. And I can agree with them in the sense that, some of the roads that are impassable, are now passable. They are now, they've been treated, they've been worked on. And the people who live in these areas are the happiest people.
Yeah.
Now, that is as far as roads are concerned. Okay. Now, let me tell you, if you live in a place where for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you don't have access, you can't access your house, by with your vehicle and all that, and all of a sudden it is cleared up, for you, you'll be a very happy person. You will praise that person who has done it for you. Yeah. You praise him to high heavens. But beyond that, fixing the roads are a different matter. Patching of roads here and there, is what the other government failed to do. Well, like they say, government is a continuum. If this one failed to do that, another one comes in and does that, he will get the appreciation of people naturally. So that is what I see that is happening. In the areas where Okezie has failed, Alex Otti is moving into that area to most probably allege, or assuage rather, the sufferings of the people, and that gives him the recognition that the people offer.
Okay, so one of the biggest undoing of the last administration was in the area of payment of salary. So many people believe that the previous administration didn't pay salaries and pension as well. I don't know if that people still hold the same view right now, but in the area of education, take for instance Abia State University, Uturu, the workers there are still complaining of lack of payment. When you go to town planning authority workers, the same complaint persists. When you go to Asopadek, they say they have arrears and all that. And that was the same thing the previous government did not achieve. And one was, people were expecting that upon assumption of office, the present government will look into that. So when you say that Governor Alex Otti has moved into those areas, previous government couldn't touch on, and is trying to assuage, the nerves of people in that area. What about this particular area I just highlighted now? Yeah,
you remember I said to you that, the area of analysis is very large, so you take it sectorally. Yeah. Now, in the sector of education, for example, I haven't seen anything new that has happened. Okay. But I have seen an increment of budgetary allocation, to that sector. I have seen it, and one wonders, what they do with it, when nothing new has happened. Now, you come to the area of salaries. I think during the period of Okezie, he paid salaries, but he paid salaries to what he called civil servants. He made a distinction between core civil servants and non-core civil servants. Obviously, when you have an organization that is revenue generating and at the same time is subventioned by government, you don't expect the government to come directly and begin to administer that area. The people who are handling, take the case of Abia Poly those days. Abia Poly charges fees, from students and raises money, in different areas, and is also subventioned, by the government. Now, if they fail to pay salaries to their workers, it is not the fault of the government. But I think what Okezie was unable to do was because he did not have sufficient supervisory authority over the people that he appointed. Okay. Now, for me, this is my own personal analysis. I may be wrong, but the point remains that most of these people, who were appointed were imposed on him. They were, either party people imposed it on him, or those who made him governor, imposed them on, so he was not able to have a sufficient supervisory authority over them. He did not discipline them when they go wrong. He did not, exercise, that supervisory authority over them. So, but he forgot, that whatever mess they create, the buck stops at his own table. So that is why people castigate him for non-performance. It's not necessarily, the governor cannot be everywhere at the same time. You allocate authorities and powers, to people at different areas, and you expect them to perform. If they don't perform, discipline them. And if you can't discipline them, well, the woes, come back to you. So that is my view of Okezia's this thing. He was unable to discipline his people, so he created lacunas, everywhere, almost everywhere. Now, salaries, people are still, I have people, in the civil service, they have not complained about salaries. That is non-payment of salaries.
Is it now or when the previous government?
During Okezia's period, civil servants, to my knowledge, did not complain about non-payment of salaries. We talked about non-payment of pensions.
Okay.
And I remember that in this studio, I promised that I was going to take it up, with the governor anywhere I meet him. And I did that. And he tried to pay at that time, but then, of course, things were overtaken by the politics of the period and all that, Now, the same situation subsists today. The government of Alex Otti is not paying pensions. Pensioners are still complaining. Civil servants who ought to get some form of increment, looking at the hardship, that is created by the removal of the subsidy and all that, are not getting it in Abia State. Whereas they're getting it across board, in all the states of the Federation. Why is it that, in Abia State, civil servants are being punished for not, they're not given that incremental expectation that they had. I understand that, during the May Day, the workers were very angry and all that, and I'm not fine. So that shows you that, things are not going well in that sector. So the government of Alex Otti is not doing well, in that sector. I have said it about education. There's nothing new that has happened in education. No refurbishment of schools and tools of learning, in the various schools. I haven't seen anything new. But still, there are very large budgetary allocations, So let us see what happens at the end of the day, whether he has something up his sleeves that he's going to come up with. But so far, I haven't seen much improvement in that sector.
Okay, so we are still on the issue of civil service and civil servants in the state as well. Before now, when the government assumed office in May, I understand that some civil servants were laid off, and up to this moment, they are still somewhere hanging around, still pleading that they should be reinstated into the system because they are actually suffering. So you know what the economy is like right now, and this issue, the government on their own said they were not duly employed. That was why they were, laid off. And of course, maybe it could also be that government didn't have enough fund to take care of their welfare. Just like you pointed out that welfare of workers are not, the government is not doing well in that. What would have happened if these people were to be reinstated? And the wage bill of the state continues to increase, and government may find it extremely difficult to address some of these issues of welfare, salary, and all that of workers. Is it the right thing for government to have laid them off, or do you think the government should reinstate them, then source for funds on how to take care of them?
I think that it is a wrong idea for government to lay them off. Some of these people have worked for 1 year, 2 years plus, in the organizations where they were employed without salary for 1 year, 2 years, and then you come in, and lay them off. That is very wrong. And mind you, the receipts of the government, from federal allocation increased, almost how many fold? A lot of money now comes into the state. So why don't you use this money to satisfy some of these outstanding issues that you met on the ground? Now, the people you sacked, will never not only that they are suffering, their children are suffering, the families are suffering, you know. So the extension of the problem you have created by sacking them, you know, will multiply and create more dissatisfaction, you know, in the state. So for me, it is not the right thing to do, particularly when the receipts, you know, from the federal allocation has increased multiple times. And then there are, I understand too that there are funds that have been made available to the state, you know, and which could be used, you know, to sort out all these problems, you know, but which are not being used, you know, to sort these things out. And in fact, the worst aspect of it is that, you know, some of these receipts, you know, are kept secret. Nobody mentions to the people how much money has come to the state and what it is going to be used for. Everything is done in secrecy. And government is not run that way. It is not a private business, you know. So government is not run as a private business, you know, where you make money, you keep it secret to yourself, you know. This is public funds that come to the state. The people in the state ought to know that so and so amount of money has come, you know, from so and so area, you know, to our state, and we are going to use it to do so and so things. Here, in the case of the current state administration, you know, everything is a secret. Everything is voodoo, you know.
Many people may want to disagree with you, Dr. Max, because last week they will tell you that Abia state government actually published their financial activities from June last year to, I think, March this year. That's about 9 months, and they stated everything they have done in terms of finances and all that. So, but though many people are also, you know, querying that the financial expenses or activities of government, saying that most of the things stated there, you know, cannot be traced anywhere. When you say you spend so amount of money, you know, to a particular expenditure head, they cannot trace it. They cannot trace it. But if that's the case, should we also say that the government lacks transparency? Is it still lacking transparency when they have actually made public the expenses of government?
Thank you. Making public the expenses of government 9 months after is not, you know, being transparent, because already you have expended that money already before telling the people, showing to the people. Now, what we're talking about, what we call transparency, is that, you know, the federal allocations come. You say the state government got this so and so amount of money. The local governments got so and so amount of money. These monies are going to be applied to so and so things following our budget estimates, you know. So that is the way people expect a government to function. Now, when you, for example, take this example of, you know, the amount of money in billions that is used to maintain the governor's office.
11 billion naira.
11 billion naira to maintain the governor's office. Now you ask yourself, where is the governor's office? We have the government house in Umuahia that since 1990, in fact since the military regime, you know, have served, you know, as a government house. Then you have another one that is built, you know, started by T.O.G., Governor T.O.G., somewhere, and I understand was completed, you know, by Ibazo. Even if it was not completed, why don't you complete it and move into that place, so that we have a public place that is supposed to be our government house? We cannot, you know, come to your house and say that we are in government house. That is wrong. That is wrong. And then considering the amount of money you use to keep up your house, your private house, it's wrong. It doesn't show how do I say it, you know, probity. It doesn't show that at all. If you use 11 billion to repair or fix, you know, the new government house, you know, that is already standing there, you know, Hurube layout.
Yeah.
Now, Abians, you know, will accept, you know, that you have done something worthy. But to use 11 billion, you know, to clean your own house in your village, that is wrong. Absolutely wrong.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. We are looking at the activities of Dr. Alex Otti's administration the last 1 year. Don't forget, on the May 29th this year, it will be exactly 1 year since Governor Alex Otti assumed office as the executive governor of the state. And we are looking at 1 year so far. How has it been? My guest is an elder statesman and the leader of Ukwalanga Council of Elders, Dr. Max Nduaguibe. We'll take a breather now. When we come back, we'll look at other areas bordering on this issue of assessment of Governor Alex Otti's administration in the last 1 year. All right, welcome back to the program. It's still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. We are looking at almost a year in office of Governor Alex Otti, his activities as the executive governor of the state, what he has been able to achieve, and the areas people believe he can improve upon. My guest is Dr. Max Nduaguibe, an elder statesman and the leader of Ukwalanga Council of Elders. Welcome back to the program, Chief Doctor.
Thank you so much.
We talked about transparency before we went on break, and let's look at the issue of projects. When you look around now, many people will believe that the governor is doing well in terms of project. He has flagged off so many roads in the state which are ongoing right now. But the opposition will say, or some people who actually want transparency in government, that why is it that governor is not actually making public the amount, those projects are awarded for? That he ought to have been making it so public so that people will flow. But the issue is, let's assume the governor awards a contract of 10 billion naira and he tells you 20 billion naira. So is that enough? If you say you've done a project of 10 naira, maybe actually it's 20 naira and all that. Is this the transparency we are talking about?
See, transparency involves, there are laws in this country that govern the award of contracts. These laws are there. You publish it. You publish, the work, that is to be done. Then you invite contractors, and they will submit quotes, and you will have a committee that assesses, this. So these things are there in the laws. I am shocked to know that none of that is happening in our state. It is the state is run like a one-man business. One-man business in the sense that no other person knows what happens except the governor himself. How can you award a contract? We don't know. Are there tenders? Did people tender for this job? Or you simply sat down in your office, call your people and then award these contracts, to them at your own pleasure. Things are not done that way. This is like running a state, as a private enterprise. Abia State is not a private enterprise of anybody. Do things according to the law. Set up a committee that evaluates the job you want to do. Publish it. Invite contractors. Invite tenders, let them tender, let the tenders, open the tenders, publicly, so that everybody will know what each and every contractor, offered. And then from there, you'll be able to take your decision. And then people will know at how much you awarded that contract. Here, everything is done in secrecy. Everything is done as if it is a private business, between me and my wife. Now, Abia State is not a private enterprise of anybody. This is not the way to run a government. That is my view.
Okay, now let's go over to the issue of agriculture. Abia State is known for, farming and all that. When you look around, some of the communities in Abia State, the agrarian communities. And when we look at what the economy is talking about, food insecurity, food security and all that, and we are not, you look at the policies of government. Are you also comfortable with the policies made so far, if there are any, in that sector that will boost farm produce and even encourage rural farmers to, generate more food for people? And at least Abia can actually export food and farm produce to other communities and make some money.
I don't know how old many of our listeners, are. When we had what is called DIFRI, I don't know if you remember DIFRI?
Yes, under Babangida, right?
That's right. Now, DIFRI was meant to open up, the rural areas, grade the roads, where there are no roads, create roads, to enable people come out with their food, their food production, so that, food will be abundant in the market. Now, if you look at the cost of transportation alone today, you will find out that people are really suffering. Now, I take my place, for example. Between Interior Junction and Mbausi, we used to pay 1 naira a couple of years back. Today, Okada will take 1. Possible for people to move about. There's no freedom of movement anymore. Now, look at the streets. Because of the cost of fuel, there are no cars, There are no cars in the streets. Now, if you take all of this, together, you see that, the economy of Abia State is completely stifled. Civil servants are not paid. The allowances are not paid. Leave, whatever, are not paid. The increment of salary that is happening all over the country is not happening in our state, So there is no, how do I say it, money is not circulating in our state. Money is not circulating at all. Because it is when these people, when the civil servants and all these people collect what is due them, they'll be able to spend. And then, people in various areas, will see money in their hands and they will also be able to spend, So the economy of the state is completely stifled. Nothing is happening. Now, you're talking about agriculture. If there are no good roads bringing out, products, produce, and the cost of, coming out from the various villages, by Okada or by Keke is even exorbitant. Now, somebody goes to his farm, you've already planted your cassava farm, you produce your gari, and you want to bring it to the market. Now, transportation alone will take almost half of, what the cost of your produce. It makes no sense. So people are really suffering. I hope and pray that, of course, local economies, like state economies, are also in a large extent dependent upon the national economy itself, So for economists, there's what you call macro and macro and micro analysis, of the economy. But what I mean is that, at least in some states, take Akwa Ibom. People in Akwa Ibom, the villagers, are happier in Akwa Ibom than the villagers in Abia State. Because the government in Akwa Ibom State, have concentrated, to look after the welfare of the majority of their people. Now, in Abia State, there is no welfare going to the people at all. So the economy is completely stifled, it's completely flat. And I don't know how you'll be spending all these billions, on roads, spending all these billions, on Port Harcourt Road, on whatever, and your people, the majority of people, are hungry. Now tell me, the number of people that live in Port Harcourt Road, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do Port Harcourt Road, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that, the amount of money put into Port Harcourt Road, for example, if it is used, to create a welfare situation that will benefit a larger majority of the population, it will be more meaningful. That is my view. I may be wrong, but you see, the purpose of government is to look after the larger population of the people. Now, if the government is interested in only an elitist group, you own a car. My mother does not own a car. My mother is not going to use the same road you use. Now, if they spend the whole money repairing your road, it doesn't benefit my mother. It doesn't benefit all the people in my village. So what we're trying to say is this, that while you want to impress people by, spending huge amounts of money on roads, remember that the larger majority of the people in Abia State, you owe them a duty to satisfy their immediate needs.
Which is?
Now, people pay school fees, people eat, people move about. Now, all of these, are the totality of problems that face the public, the common man, if you like. And the common man, we keep on saying it, the common man, the common man. We don't even know who is the common man today because they have been completely forgotten. The common man in Abia State is completely forgotten.
Okay, so Dr. Mark, so many people believe that the governor has done well in the area of security. Do you believe that as well?
I can't give an opinion immediately. Why? Because, the security situation during Okezie Ikpeazu was perfect, almost perfect. There was no incidents of violence, incidents of kidnapping, incidents, we didn't have that much, during Okezie Ikpeazu's.
Within Umunnochi axis, we used to have it during Ikpeazu's time.
No, that was at the tail end of Ikpeazu's. That was when the bishop, was kidnapped. That was at the tail end of Ikpeazu's governance. But I'm talking about almost the 8 years, or say the 7 years of Ikpeazu's government. There was peace, in Abia State. Now, between the period of Ikpeazu handing over to handing over to Alex Otti, criminals, took advantage of that waiting period. They know that the government is new, the government has not settled down yet, so the criminals, invaded all those areas, But I think, he took a very effective measure by dealing with the situation in Lokpanta. If you knew before the situation in Lokpanta and what it is now, you will say that he has done well. I passed through there. I used to go to Enugu for meetings. During the Ikpeazu's period, I passed through there. It was chaotic, so to speak. But now, you can easily drive through Lokpanta. What's the name of that place?
Yes, Lokpanta.
Yeah. That cattle, whatever. You can easily pass through there now. I don't see so much of violence. But remember too, the funny thing about Nigeria is that the people who are supposed to keep the peace are the people who are disturbing the peace. Ask yourself, where do these criminals, get these guns? Some of them say they get it, from the security people. They pay the security people, and the security people give them arms. And when they come back, they share. So these are some of the things that, you cannot blame on one man, But let me say that there hasn't been notable instances of kidnapping and violence in Abia State, since Dr. Alex Otti took over governance.
Okay. I want to, before we open the phone lines, let's go over to Abia State House of Assembly and look at developments there, the politics there and all that. We are looking at the totality of governance, whether the executive arm, the legislative arm, or the judiciary. It's all about, governance and government in Abia State. Now, with development in Abia State House of Assembly, what would be your what would you say, or your reaction in that regard? I understand that the lawmaker is here to be sworn in after the court. Yes, after the court has actually proclaimed him the winner of that election, and so many other things. They said it appears to be in bed with the executive arm of government. Anything that government brings to them, they go ahead and pass it. No scrutiny, no interrogation of any kind, and they call it a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
Do you believe that Abia State House of Assembly is a kind of rubber stamp to the executive? We saw that during Ikpeazu's time. They said they didn't do well. Anything the governor brought at the time got accelerated passage and all that. Is it still the same thing right now?
Yes, of course it is. The only time I can say that we had a State House of Assembly was during the period of Ojus Okalo.
Okay.
During the period of Ojus Okalo, there was a situation of push me, I push you. So the Assembly took a position that was contrary to that of the governor. And the fight, dragged on, for a period of time. Now, that will show you that, there is the need or there is the desire for the assembly to maintain its independence, to be able to say no to the governor when there is need to say no to the governor. Now, during Okezie Ikpeazu, and of course, during TLG, you see, what Okezie Ikpeazu inherited, was the continuation of all the things that were wrong, from Ojuzo Kalu, TLG, that's what Okezie Ikpeazu inherited. And he had no guts to change them because of the very nature, because of the way by which he was brought into governance. So he didn't have that guts. Now, when I knew that we are still in the same situation was when the minority in the House of Assembly became the majority. When the minority was able to elect the speaker and all of that, Now that shows you that we don't have a House of Assembly. The executive took it over immediately, and you will not be surprised, that things will continue to be just yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. It will continue to be like that. There is no assembly. Now, where it hurts me, I was a law teacher. Some of my students are professors of law today. Some of my students are SANs. Some of my students are judges today. And I taught them the elements of government, how government works, the executive, the legislature, I taught them that. And I feel so bad when I see in reality, in practical reality, that things have gone haywire. How can the judiciary that serves, the government be rubbished, by the same executive? The courts have given a decision that so and so person should be reinstated. I think, what's the guy's name,
Aaron Uzodike.
Aaron Uzodike. The court, has said he should be reinstated. And up to today, the governor, Dr. Alex Otti, has refused to advise, his legislature, his self-appointed speaker,
Does he have the mandate to direct the speaker to swear him in?
He has the mandate to tell the speaker anything, because that is what is going on right now. He tells the speaker what to do, and the speaker has no...
but as a teacher of law, sir, you should know what the law says about separation of powers.
But that's what I'm saying to you. It doesn't happen. I taught all these things, to students who are now judges. And they apply this. For example, a judge came to a conclusion that so and so person won that election. Why would the speaker not swear him in? And the speaker cannot refuse to swear him in if he didn't have the support of the governor.
But the governor is not a member of the state assembly as well. And
was the governor? You remember the day that assembly was inaugurated, and when they did the election, so the governor was sitting down there. Was he supposed to sit down there?
But he's an Abian. He came to... I was there as well. I'm sure if you had wanted to be there, you would have been there. No. He came as an Abian.
Oh, come on.
Is there any law stopping the governor from being there when something like that is happening?
It's all right. It's all right. You see, we know the truth. We know the truth. We know how things happen. And we know how things are interpreted. Let's not go there. My own conviction is that, the Speaker of the so-called Abia House of Assembly has no authority, has no powers to reject swearing in somebody whom the courts have pronounced to be a legitimate legislator. Now, look, Alex Otti himself went to court severally. Now, the courts give decisions that are favorable to him, and sometimes they give decisions that are not favorable to him. And nobody rejected, those decisions that were favorable to him. Nobody rejected implementing them, even though they went up to the Supreme Court. So why would he now supervise over the rubbishing of the legislature in our state, the rubbishing of the judiciary in our state? So everything that matters, is the executive. That is wrong.
is it really fair, sir, to finger the governor in all this? Because I think they have the leadership of the House of Assembly. The Speaker is there, who has the mandate to swear in Aaron Ozodike. And up to this time, he hasn't done that. Why is it that people are not calling out the Speaker to do what is right? Why pointing accusing finger to the governor, who is not a member of the State Assembly?
Okay, let me go it this way. During the period of Ikpeazu, all the things that, particularly the little things that Ikpeazu ought to have done, he didn't do. Patching of roads. That's what Alex Otti is doing now. He's patching roads, and people are hailing him. I saw somebody, wrote in one of the things I read, that they're now beginning to patch the roads, in Umuahia. Something that they have never seen, in the last 8 years. Now, somebody wrote that. I read it myself. Now, they are breaking the bad road of, the bad roads in Umuahia. They haven't even done them, the majority of them. They haven't done them. They just broke them, waiting perhaps, for finance and all that, to do it. These are little things that OKZ ought to have done, which he didn't do. But Alex is doing them now. Alex Otti is doing them now and recording, recording the approval of the people. Now, if anything goes wrong in this state, the person to hold responsible is not the Speaker. It is the governor. All the buck stop on his table. If the legislator is doing anything that is wrong, it is the duty of the governor to call in his people and advise them. So if he is not doing that, he is complicit.
Okay, that's your opinion. It's time for us to open the phone line so you can be part of this discussion. Call us on 08081826949 or 081160529949. You can also send your SMS or 09065108289. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Gineka.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Nduaguibe, I greet you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you, sir. My name is Mr. Chijoke. Sir, I thank you for the way you have been, saying whatever that comes from mind. But I want to remind you that you should not forget that you are the former director.
Chijoke. Hello, Chijoke, can you hear me?
Sir, I'm hearing you, sir.
Do you know what we are talking about?
Yes, sir, I'm saying that...
do you know what we are talking about, Chijoke? We are discussing we are really assessing Governor Otti's...
I know what I'm saying. Allow me to land. I know where I'm going.
Okay, go on.
I am talking about Alex Otti governance.
Yes.
In Abia State. And I want to remind the guest that he was the campaign director of Alex Otti 2019, and which I normally come to him and he advised me and tell us what to do. And he told Abians that Alex Otti is the best in Abia State, that he has never seen a such politician like Alex Otti. But I am not surprised because he later resigned as the campaign director of Alex Otti and he moved to PDP. And along the line, he later... you
are still deviating. Chijoke, stay on the issue. Hello? Can you hear me? Just listen.
Yes.
We are discussing the Governor Alex Otti's 1 year in office. Stay on the matter.
Okay,
what do you think? Just go ahead.
Yes, Gineka, I know what I'm saying. I am surprised.
You are discussing my guest and I will not allow it.
I said, I am surprised when I heard that Alex Otti is passing roads in Abia. I now ask myself, is it the same man Nduaguibe that I know that always talks good about Alex Otti?
Okay, thank you so much for calling us. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Gineka.
Welcome.
I'm calling from Oman.
Welcome, Chinedum. Go ahead.
Yes, let me start with the issue of what Bazu should have done. That is what Alex is doing.
Okay.
I must confess that this present administration has never repeated any project. And that shows that they are focused on doing something that the people need. For me, I think the government of the day is driving towards...
Chinedum, go ahead. Hello, can you hear me? Your line is actually breaking. Your line is breaking. Can you move away from where you are? Let's see if we can get a clearer reception here. Oh, it's still breaking. Maybe you just drop our callers back. Okay, 08081826949 or 0811605249. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my people.
Welcome.
Good morning, I'm not in the house.
Good morning.
Fine, like I'm calling from English.
Okay, go ahead.
Whether we like it or not, government is government of the city. No one is special. I want to say it. The moment Alex Otti is in now is doing well. We must say Alex Otti is trying. But at the same time, I want to advise Alex Otti, leave other governors that left office. Do your own. Don't mind. Don't problem whether this or that. That thing will be a big distraction to your government. People that don't like your government will use it against you tomorrow. Today in Kogi State, the former governor is no longer exchanged. So no politician is changed. That is my own personal opinion.
Okay.
So continue your good work. I don't even like the thing where you will be saying, I want to prove this, I want to, that is the area I don't like. For my man, there you have every right to be at any political party and say the truth. Don't mind anybody at all. If you cannot be there, you join them.
Okay. Thank you.
About interest.
Thank you. Is quite low. I just hope you'll be able to call in. I will get back to you, Doctor, but I'll take some of the reactions on our Facebook page. This one is coming from Chris Ebochin. I say, I like the analysis of your guest, but I strongly disagree with him on the economic importance of reconstructing Port Harcourt through Aba. Apart from being a gateway to two major markets in Aba, the entire length and breadth of the road is filled up with business concerns that generate huge income by way of tax to the state government. Okay, thank you so much, Chris. Wachuku Kennedy said, good morning, everyone in the studio. It's no longer news that Alex Otti really came to reposition, rebuild, and to liberate Abians from the shackles of 24 wasteful years of misrule, mismanagement, and misfortune. Indeed, Abia remains work in progress under Otti's watch. Thank you so much. Okay, to our SMS line. This one is coming from Kingsley. He said the House of Assembly should do the needful by swearing in the PDP guy in the House. Thank you so much. This one is also coming from Dr. John. He said, what Dr. Nduaguibe said of salary is correct. The Abia Accountant General has refused to release our salaries she withheld, even when our verification had been completed. Thank you so much, John. Okay, Doctor, it's time for us to... Okay, you can react to some of the questions raised there.
Thank you very much. Let me first of all advert to the first person who alluded to the fact that I was Alex Otti's campaign manager in 2019. Yes, that is very true. And I'm also glad that, he said that I later, at the end of the elections, I resigned. That is also true. Now, to go from there to say that I should not say any other thing, that I know that is good for the benefit of Abia State, is wrong. That I worked with him. If I were still working with Alex Otti by now, I have the boldness to be able to tell him, Alex, this is good. Alex, this is not good. He knows it. He knows I will look at him in the face and tell him what I believe. Alex knows that. So that I am not with him changes nothing. There are areas he's doing well. I applaud him. There are areas he's not doing well. I chastise it. Now, remember that, there's really nothing I need in this state. I'm not going to be a commissioner. I'm not going to be this. I'm not going to be that. You are not going to appoint me to any committee of anything. I'm not interested in all of that. So I am fairly an elderly person, that I should say the truth as I know it. Now, coming to responding particularly to that man, let him know that yes, I worked with Alex. Yes, I resigned. Yes, I have reasons why I resigned. Now, I have those reasons, the reasons that made me to resign are so convincing to me, and they are fundamental, to my own philosophy.
Okay.
So, don't blame me, that I resigned and I should have been there, I should have been, no. I have served him and the project of, that he was interested in, and I stopped.
Okay.
And I moved away. And I didn't join any other political party. I did not.
Okay. I think we should just leave it at that. Let me sincerely thank you, an elder statesman and the leader of Okwalangwa Council of Elders, Dr. Max Nduaguibe. Thank you so much for finding time to come on the show this morning. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And all of you who called in, who dropped your SMS, and who sent in your comment on our Facebook page, thank you so much. May God bless you. I really appreciate how you contribute